Hello my fellow dinos, my name is Kanani and I made Lostvayne, Meliodas' sacred treasure from the anime The 7 Deadly Sins. And I'm going to show you how you can make it too as a beginner. I am actually a beginner myself. I am not a pro. I have actually never done this before. This is my very first prop that I have ever made, but I think it turned out pretty well. And I recorded the entire journey so that way I can show you how you can do it as well. Because I am not a professional, I have never done this before, all the methods that I used may not be the best way to do things. So if you know a better method for making a sword like this, please do let me know in the comment section below so that way I can grow and you can watch me grow. I love feedback. I'll be making sure to list all of the items that I used to make this sword down in the description box below, so make sure to go check it out, as well as making sure to check out those links for those YouTube videos and those channels that I watch to help me learn some new techniques, such as the varnishing technique that you will be seeing. So make sure you go check them out. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started making Lostvayne. The materials I used to start were a pair of scissors, an X-Acto knife, a box cutter, a silver Sharpie, and some food coloring. There are more materials that I will be listing later. I then made a blueprint of Lostvayne from a reference photo in Inkscape. Once that was done, I then printed it over a few pages, lined them all up, and then taped them together. Once they were taped together, I then used my scissors to cut out all of the main shapes as well as the inner circles. When I was done, it looked like this. Taking that template, I then placed it on 5mm high density EVA foam and traced it twice so that way I had 2 copies of the template. I then cut both out using my box cutter, making sure to sharpen it frequently. EVA foam dulls your blade very fast. Once those were out, I put those aside and pulled back out my template and cut out the remaining shapes of the hilt, including the pommel and the handguard, both pieces of the handguard. Taking those smaller pieces, I then brought those over to the EVA foam, traced them, as well as cutting them out also with my box cutter. I ended up with 4 5mm pieces of the handguard. I then took my box cutter and I cut out 3 hollows for dowel rod that would be for the supports. I should have used my Dremel for this. It would have been a lot easier, but I didn't think about that at the time. Once I finished that, I put contact cement where my dowel rods were going to go on each piece and let the glue get tacky. Once the glue is tacky, I placed my dowel rods into the hollows and glued the 2 pieces together. I then glued the pieces of the handguard together, traced where they were going to go on the sword before gluing those pieces on. Doing this ended up making smoothing and shaping very difficult, so I probably would shape these pieces before gluing them to the sword itself for next time. Now that I was done with that, I needed a mask, goggles, a heat gun, and my Dremel. I then went in with my Dremel and smoothed all the edges so that they were round and the correct shape, even inside of the holes. Make sure to wear your goggles and your mask during this because it creates a lot of foam dust, which is not safe to inhale. As I was done Dremeling an area, I went in with my heat gun and heat sealed those areas. I really struggled to get the correct shape completely with my Dremel since I had glued everything together prematurely. I had to go back in with foam clay to kind of fix that. Foam clay is a moldable foam that when it dries is almost exactly like EVA foam, but is a lot more forgiving and you can do kind of whatever you want with it. Once that was dry, I then went back in with my Dremel and shaped that where I wasn't able to before. Anthony did help me in this area because I was having a hard time reaching all the places I need to since I glued everything prematurely like I had mentioned. Once everything was all shaped, I then took some quick seal and put that in on the spaces that I wasn't able to completely smooth out. Then taking some Plasti Dip Primer, I then coated the entire sword in this to just help it stay strong. Since the Plasti Dip was blue, I then went in with white acrylic paint and just coated the entire thing so I had a nice white base coat before going in with my yellow and my green for the blade and the hilt. But we didn't end up actually liking the way this turned out, so we tried a new method. We took some white gloss paint, some metallic silver paint, and we just coated the entire thing so that way the hilt was silver. Once that was done, we took some high gloss varnish, put that in a cup, and took 1 drop of red food dye, 2 drops of yellow food dye, mixed those together and started slowly coating that onto the silver portion of the hilt. It was a very slow process, but over time it did start to turn gold, which was a color that we liked much more. We ended up doing about 6 coats, but we wanted it to be more yellow, so we went back in with just 2 drops of yellow in the varnish to make it more of a yellowy gold like in the anime. Once we had done that, we taped off the parts we didn't want to get spray painted, went back in with the silver spray paint and spray painted the blade silver. For the sharp edge of the blade, we did the same technique we did for the hilt, but with blue, green, and a red drop in the varnish. We then went back in and fixed up the green, adding the nice texture that we were really hoping to see before. With that, we were almost done. I then went into my Cricut and I made 2 vinyl stickers of the dragon emblem for the hilt. I then cut those out and carefully placed those on both sides of the handguard. Then Anthony took some ribbon and wrapped the handle like it is in the anime. If you enjoyed watching me make Lostvayne, hit that like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really enjoyed making this. I'm looking forward to making some more. If you have anything you'd like to see me try to make, leave me a comment in the comment section below. I promise I will look at all of them and hopefully I'll be able to make most of them at some point. If you're wanting to stick around and see what else I am going to be making, make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you're notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!